Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're enjoying our Simple Abundance year so far. We're following along in Sarah Bon Bronick's book, Simple Abundance, her 2019 redone edition. And right now we're right in the middle of learning about each of the principles in a daily entry right now. And this is just a little teaser, as I mentioned in another recent video, that we will have certain activities and more entries later on about each of the principles and things to contemplate with them. So today is January 16th and dun dun dun. This one I mentioned yesterday. It could be one that you love or one that you hate, but this is order. So if you're a messy person or you don't like systems, then you might have resistance to this one. Or actually you could be a messy person longing to be in a little bit more of an organized, cleanly state. And I can only share from my own experience. I feel like I keep a clean house for the most part, but sometimes I let it get messy, but it never gets messy enough that it takes me very long to clean it up. I'm going to be talking more in detail when there are some entries later. Sarah calls housekeeping home caring, which I really love. And this is something that goes back 25 plus years. It's FlyLady. I'll put a blog link. This is like, she had a blog way back before the internet was even really a thing yet. But she had a book called Sink Reflections, and she always encouraged you to go to bed at night with a clean sink and how that could psychologically positively affect your house. And I can definitely say, and Sarah shares this in today's entry too, that sometimes the chaos in your home or how messy it is and how you just kind of like let stuff pile up, that can sometimes coincide with your own internal feelings. And on the flip side, you might really get a lot of satisfaction out of keeping a clean and orderly house, because in some respects you might feel that that allows you to have some control over things that you might not otherwise have control over. Like if other aspects of your life are not going so great, at least you can control the cleanliness of your house, right? I'm sure there are psychological studies. She mentions it briefly in this entry. And it's funny, I'm not going to show this on camera, but it happened to me and I haven't taken care of it yet. But one thing that I notice when things start to get a little bit out of hand, or I'm not taking care of myself in a self-care way, just nothing to do with my home, I do notice, and I'm not one of those women that has tons and tons of pairs of shoes, but it's winter and I do have a pair of boots and I have a pair of clogs that I go out and fill the bird feeders with. I have a pair of casual shoes, I have a pair of work shoes, and I have slippers or whatever. And where am I going with this? I notice that if I go to my front door and all of my shoes are there, like I didn't even take a minute to there's a closet right near my door, to just take my shoes off and throw them right in there. I can see that. It's almost like, oh, here we go with the shoes, you know? It's like, it's without the order there of putting my shoes away, which takes 1 second, I can tell that that is a symptom of overwhelm in my life, or possibly depression, where I'm just like, I don't care, I'm just taking off my shoes, and like it's like an unconscious thing. I'm not saying I do it deliberately, although I will say there's one room in my house that nobody ever goes in except for me, and it's kind of like my tantrum room, where I don't throw tantrums in there, but I keep it as clean or as messy as I want, and nobody ever sees it. It's like that little kid in me where it's like, you can't force me to put my clothes into the hamper. I'm just gonna throw them right next to the hamper and nobody goes in there. So I can have my own little private room and do whatever I want in there. And sometimes I'm in there going, wow, this is out of control. And I don't want anybody to ever go in there. But the rest of my house, if I have guests over, nobody ever goes in that room, so they don't have any idea. So for the public and for my day-to-day, the rooms that I use all the time, then I keep it clean. And oh, I mentioned FlyLady earlier. One other thing that she used to say is that your house should never be more than 15 minutes away from being presentable. Like if a guest all of a sudden called you and said they were coming over, like that was always her advice as far as how bad to let it go. Like if you need 3 hours to clean up, then it's beyond the point that you want it to be. So not necessarily clean, but as far as having a sense of order in general, like, do you have a system of deciding when you're gonna wash the carpet or do the tile, some of these housekeeping things? Or do you have drawers that you open up and it's just like you can't find anything in there because there's no organization, it's just stuff is thrown in there. Just like when I take off the shoes, maybe I just threw everything into one drawer, you know? So in some of the things that we're gonna do this year with order, it will be a matter of, and this of course is a choice, we're here on this journey together, but it will be a matter of going through drawers and closets and things like that. And I can totally say from my own experience that when I have done that, even if it's a drawer that I don't really need to go into often, there's some sort of satisfaction to getting things in order. And then of course we talked yesterday about simplicity. So as you're going through drawers and closets and things that you might find like, hey, I didn't really realize I had 5 of the same exact spatulas. I really don't need that. So order and simplicity definitely go together hand in hand. So the control freaks out there, I'm one of them, you know, we do probably thrive more on order than, and actually I'm probably a 50-50 mix of control freak and free spirit, which is probably why I like to have that room to myself where I can just be as rebellious as I want where order is concerned. But this one might be a little bit harder to grasp for some people, and do what you can, do what you want to, but I think as we go along and if we do some of these activities together, then I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by the positive impact that it has. I'm just gonna read I like what she says at the end of the entry today. It says, "There is a divine order, a sublime order, inherent to the universe. We can tap into this powerful source of creative energy when we are willing to gradually cultivate a sense of order as to how we conduct our daily affairs. Invite divine order into your life today, and a more serene tomorrow will unfold." And that sums up what she said earlier in the entry. Hopefully you're following along. But she does mention that, just like what I said yesterday, as far as when you're putting your mental energy towards this clutter, or just, you can have this feeling of just feeling like everything's like closing in on you when there's so much around and there's so much disorder around. So you can really take a hold of that and make some small changes. Maybe it involves having a friend come over and help you. I remember one time when I had just moved into a new place that I had just thrown everything into one room, and I needed to go through it and decide whether I was going to keep some of it, what I was going to do with it. And I just had a friend come over and we made piles. It's just like those shows that sometimes you see on TV where they have you like keep, toss, donate. So sometimes just having that friend there, or of course there are professional people that help you organize everything down to the trunk of your car. So I invite you right now, like Sarah says in today's entry, to just start contemplating what are some of the areas in your life and in your home and in daily or monthly, weekly practices that you feel that you could benefit from some more order. And when I say order, yes, I mean organization, I mean structure, so that it's not overwhelming. Because if you don't really have a plan for doing things, then it can feel overwhelming. It can feel like, oh, I have to clean my whole house, whereas opposed to, oh, I'm just going to start today with this one drawer. And there's no homework. You don't need to do anything today. We're just talking about order. And I'd love to hear what you think and how you're enjoying learning a little bit about each of the principles so far. And you know what? I didn't look at tomorrow yet. Tomorrow is January 17th, and we will be talking about harmony. And I told you my 2020 word is balance. So that is it most aligns with the harmony one. So I look forward to diving into that one, and I'll see you tomorrow for that video. Thanks again for being here along with me, keeping me going too, because I need just as much encouragement as all of you may need to. So thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.